People have a habit of seeing what they want to see. Um, they judge you unfairly sometimes. But I think it's important for us um, to pick our path accordingly. Don't be so eager, I think, to impress someone or seek attention or validation. I think when we seek validation from others, we lose ourselves along the way. Um, for instance, when I'm at work, I always have people who judge me unfairly, and I recognise it. But with maturity and wisdom, I recognise that it shouldn't have any effect on my day. It shouldn't have any effect on how I think of myself. It's for people consider things from their own perspective and often from their own needs and desires. So, if someone seeks to replace you or they seek to have what you have, they're going to have a vendetta anyway. They're already going to see a challenge. And for the most part, when you have something that someone else wants, they always often consider themselves better in the first place, even though there's nothing to justify it. There's nothing to justify what they've done that should elevate them above you. 'Cause it's not about being better than anyone else, but some people just go through life like it's a competition. Um, and it's these same people who often take shortcuts. Um, yeah, so I sort of watch on sometimes, and I can't understand why people are so competitive. Why try to replace someone? It's like at work at the moment. At the time of this, I write in my spare time. I think deeply all the time. But to bring home money, I work in warehousing because it's something I've always been. It's always been familiar to me, and within that, I've learned so many skills. I could drive any sort of forklift. Pretty much used everything. But even at work, for instance, I had a period of off for a back injury. I've come back and someone's replaced my position, which makes sense. I'm not being competitive. It's not. I can see. I can understand it. If someone has replaced you and they're doing a good job and everything's getting fulfilled, why rock the boat and change that? Makes sense. So I'm not pushing to replace anybody. And it's my friend at work who's going to be off, so I've got to replace him for a week. But I've even said to him, when you come back, it's yours again. I'm not going to try and make your life miserable. But I think too many people, they lack empathy. And I think that's sad. How people are so selfish and spiteful. I just think, what the hell is going on in this world? But it's everywhere and it's rife, and it's more prevalent than maybe many of us realise, where people will replace you in a heartbeat if they can, and they really don't care what happens as long as they elevate. I think, what the hell. Um, but like I say, there's always going to be, so like, where I can put my friend first, knowing that he deserves what he has. He's been reliable. He gets it done. There's no need for me to be competitive for that. But other people wouldn't be like that, would they? Um, and I've got recognition recently at work. Um, but you can see, like I say, I watch people. I can see straight away. Always the same ones. Think they're doing a better job than you, even though they're hiding half the time. So they try and get away with not doing anything, but to them they've done everything. It's quite weird. Like I say, a lot of people, they have no discerning like talent in terms of achievement, but yet think they should be where you are, where you've already put in the hard work and you've got where you're going. For instance, like I say, I've done warehousing most of my life. So you've got some people who have it's their first warehouse position. So they see what you're doing and they think they can match it. They think they deserve to be where you are. And you don't just gain experience overnight. You can't just be someone else. You have to pave your own path. So yeah, if someone does the right things, they get where they go. I mean, don't they? But if they try and rush it, there's going to be a problem. And I can already foresee these problems because, for instance, one that's been just trained on a forklift is driving with the mobile phone in their hand, and you're thinking, well, I don't know what that is really dodgy, and I've never done that in my life. I think you take it serious when you use something that's a dangerous machine. Um, yeah, and you can just see the carelessness in a lot of it. It's just but yet they see you and they think they should replace you, and it's just, I'd argue I'm one of the fastest ones on the forklift, but I'm not dangerous. I'm not overly, but I'm not reckless. Um, yeah. So I'm not, like I say, I don't compete with people. I just stay in my lane. I'm not interested in impressing anyone. If I get recognition, fine. If I don't, I don't care. It just doesn't bother me. But it's just the faces you see people pull when you do get recognition. You can see who's in your corner and who's not, who's pitting your downfall. And once I recognise that, I take action immediately in my mind. I will literally cut people out, and I say, right, I'm not helping that person anymore. I'm more than happy to elevate people, even if it means that I don't progress. I've always been like that. So if I can impart wisdom and my knowledge, and someone grows from that, and they potentially exceed what I'm at, then that's fine. That's great, because that was the whole point of helping someone, isn't it? Is to let them go on their journey. And if it's bigger than me, it's bigger than me. But it's quite crazy how you can help someone and then they sort of try and slap you in the face for it. So yeah, I mean, when you learn that lesson quite quick. So that comes full circle on seeking validation from others, because often people aren't even worthy of the opinion anyway. Too many people give themselves a pat on the back thinking they're amazing. When, like I said, they cut corners. I see it. Like, for instance, I think my work situation, I believe everything happens for a reason, and sometimes I get frustrated and I think, why am I still in a warehouse when I should be doing many bigger things? But I'm already doing these bigger things on the side. So that's what I did this video. I think I did a video recently where I said about careers and jobs. My job isn't my career. My career is what I'm building for myself, which is the podcast, the books, the videos, audio books, things like that. That's my career. Whether I even make money from it in the future, it doesn't matter. For my whole life, that is my career. It's the thing I'm most proud of. It's the thing I put most of my commitment to. I sacrifice a lot for it. I give up a lot of my time for it. And that is me building for myself. I am my career. So the job is a job. It pays well. It's a stable opportunity, and I fit the role perfectly. But yeah, sometimes I get frustrated. I think, why am I still doing all this when I could be doing bigger and better things? But then I look at what's happening, and I can't help but think, wait, okay, we're in a situation for a reason. That's the whole reason we're in this. It's not necessarily the job itself, but the circumstance you're in. I get to witness people, and people is my biggest interest. Psychology, philosophy. I love everything that's to do with the mind and do with socializing and just the way human nature, really, and the way we behave and interact. And there's so many facets to it. It's fascinating. And in a warehouse, you see so much. It's so dynamic, so many different personalities. So you see people, more reserved, people more outgoing. But then you also see the other side of this, where it gets a bit spiteful, because you see the people who they're discontent with the job they're doing, but then some are overly ambitious. And those overly ambitious ones are the dangerous ones, because they're the ones that will throw you under the bus to get an opportunity. They don't care about the carnage they cause, as long as they get a promotion and opportunity. So I watch a lot within people, and I go and I recognise that that's why I'm really there. I'm not there for warehouse to be my future. It's more, what's the lesson in it? Watch what's going on. And one of the biggest lessons I recently picked up on was hypocrisy. The hypocrisy within people is astounding. They see in you negatives when they themselves have those same characteristics. So I often get accused of talking too much, and everywhere I go, I always get this. I get typecast. People think you're doing nothing because you're talking, and it's unfair. It really is. Yeah, I talk. I get on well with different groups. I can talk to many different people. I'm also good at cutting people out. If I don't like someone, I do not waste energy on them. For me, time and energy is precious. If I see through someone and I don't like their personality, I don't like who they are, I don't like their intentions, I won't even give them a moment's thought. I will walk past them. So I can be arrogant when I want to be, because it's like I'm not allowing people to dominate me and dictate to me, as people will manipulate where they can. But yeah, when you get typecast, it's quite unfair, because any task I'm given, I will always fulfill it within the day. How I fulfill it is my choice. But yeah, so I think some places are too regimented. Some people see what they want to see. But the part I found funny was a supervisor said the difference between you and others is they're talking about work, and I couldn't help but laugh. I actually laughed at him. I said, you're having a laugh. You're having a joke, mate. Um, because clearly people are not just talking about work. And once he said that, I started really taking an interest in people. I wasn't doing it to complain about anyone. I was just monitoring people really, just to see. Let's see then. Let's compare, because you've put me in a position where you're judging me, and I want to see if it's fairly judged. I haven't said anything to him about it, but I've heard him talk about his family, his garden, hotel he's going to be staying at, a trip he's going on. This is all going on where they're just talking for ages, you know. And I've seen others just literally stand there for half an hour and then go wandering further to hide around a pallet talking. And then some take so many breaks, it's ridiculous. Take cigarette breaks when I don't smoke. So throughout the shift, you know, I'm judged while the others are considered to be working harder, and it's like they don't work hard at all. They do. They have there's a perception that they're working harder. So people have a habit of believing their own hype. You know, someone thinks they're doing good, so they think they're doing great. But really, when you watch them yourself, you go, "Wait a minute, you're getting away with an awful lot here." You know, while I keep getting accused of things. But yeah, I mean, I don't let anyone dominate me or dictate to me. So if someone says, you know, stop talking, I'll still find a way to talk. Um, you know, because I'm not having it. I work on my terms, and I will get everything done. But I hate that being typecast, and I have it everywhere where I have to have arguments, because I think you have to stand up for yourself too. You know, is it fair to be bullied, really, to be told you can't talk while everybody else is talking, and then the accusation is you're talking about irrelevant things while everybody else is talking about work, when it's so not true. I have different sides to my personality. I like to have a laugh at work. When I'm at home, I'm more serious, I guess, because I've got more important things to do. But yeah, I think I help create a positive atmosphere amongst the ones I do talk to, and I think we have a lot of laughs, and I think having a positive atmosphere is important. You know, you want people to go to work happy, um, not demoralised. But yeah, so anyway, I'm good at what I do for the most part. And the thing is, when you become good at something, you're efficient, and that's the one thing I've always been. I always find ways to work better. I always noticed improvements that can be made, streamline. So then I make my tasks easier, and then it looks like you're being lazy, but really you've done everything asked. You've done everything asked in your own way. But it's going to be interesting soon. You know, there's a situation coming up where I'm going to focus and show everybody up, because I might as well. You know, I'm the fastest on the forklift, and I'm going to show that. And then the ones that have got an opinion have to follow behind me, and let's see how they get on. Um, and I'm just doing that just to interest myself, really. Sometimes I do things like that. It's like it's not for anyone else's benefit. I don't do anything to impress people. It's just sometimes I get bored and think, let's spice it up a little bit. So I'll find the humour in that I'll be literally accomplishing more than most gets done in a day. My first time back for quite a while doing what I enjoy. Um, and like I say, then people have to follow behind, don't they? And you've set a bar, you've set a standard. But yet, them same faces will think, even if they did like a quarter of what you did, they still think they matched you, because it's perceptions. It's all perceptions. That's why it doesn't matter what people think. Um, Everyone's a hero in their own journey, so everyone should have a little badge of honor. And, you know, I think a couple of us are humble enough to recognise our own shortcomings. Um, you know, we're not egotistical, especially to the point of um, being ignorant to our failings. You know, I know I talk, but some people won't even acknowledge that they do that. You know, and I find that again, that's the hypocrisy in people. You know, one makes so many mistakes, it's ridiculous, but they'll never admit to one mistake. It's just they throw you under the bus because they don't like to take responsibility. Um, I mean, recently someone had something taken out of the fridge, their lunch. Someone ate their lunch. Like, what the hell? I said to my supervisor, I said, if I was in charge, I'd sack that person on the spot. I said, theft's theft. I don't play about. You know, and I think that's the thing. You get weak management sometimes, some places. I would be fair, where I'd be fair and fun. I'd be, I don't believe in setting ridiculous targets for people. I don't think that's not a good working environment. But when it comes to things like that, integrity, I would be very firm. You're either a good person or a bad person. There's no in between. If you show that you can't be trusted, then you get cut off immediately. In my eyes, theft's theft, regardless of the level of theft. But I think that shows a lot about someone. If someone feels so entitled that they would take something from someone else that they know full well is not theirs, I find that really deplorable and disgusting. And my opinion of that person's dropped an awful lot. I didn't think too much in the first place, but that's just showed me immediately that I was validated what I was thinking. So when you consider this, some of these people, they're not nice. They don't have nice, good hearts. So if you think back to the first time you meet someone and you're trying to impress them, just consider the fact that these people might not even be worth impressing in the first place. It's like someone said to me, they needed a piece of equipment I had. And they said, "Can I borrow this?" And I said, "No, I need it." And they said, "Yeah, but this person said you're kind." I said, "I go, I ain't kind." I said, "They got it all wrong." And they said, "Yeah, but they said you are." And I said, "I ain't. I got a dirty heart. My heart's my heart's bad." That was me messing about. Of course, I gave it to them just thought it'd be fun to have a little make it a bit awkward for him. But yeah, I suppose I do put myself in people's places, which is empathy. I don't like to see people struggling if I can help. Yeah, I think people do a lot from the place of expecting something. It's like one time we have to take it in call outs. We have to come out when there's an emergency, a water emergency, and one of the guys had so much to do in the middle of the night. So I quickly came in. Didn't expect anything. It was just I have some free time. Let's go and let's help get this finished for him outside of work hours. And I think some people can see the kindness in it, and some people probably thought I was doing it for something, and it was that I don't know what you're talking about. I just had a bath, and I thought I'm not really doing anything. This person's suffering. Let's go and help. But I think what I noticed upon returning is no one else would have done that. They would have only done it for money. I mean, I did get paid in the end for it because someone said you might as well put in for it, and I said, well, okay, but I don't care if I get accepted or not. It was nothing to do with that. But I think many people, if they don't get rewarded, they won't. I just think, again, you can't say people are bad people because they don't, because obviously we have our own lives to live and what's important, and I think, but I think kindness is a rare gift in this world. Yeah, kindness is very rare. But I think that sometimes people behave as well with the understanding that someone else wouldn't be there for them. So it's never. I said it before. It's either good or bad. But I think sometimes, in that instance, I think sometimes it's a case of you don't think someone else would do it for you. But for the most part, I don't think that's relevant. I think it's just people don't want to. Not my problem. I ain't doing it. Sort of attitude. But like I say, we can look for inspiration in the wrong places, I think. And I think that a lot in terms of opportunity. I think sometimes people get opportunities that it's only because of the connection they have they get that opportunity. Yeah, rather than deserving in a sense. I don't want to say someone's totally undeserving of something, but or that I deserve things more because I'm better in some way. I don't want that to be the perception, but I'm good at what I do for the most part, and I'm a fast learner. So I've already shown an aptitude to adapt and do many things, but I often do get overlooked for things because people have a perception that I talk and I don't take things serious enough. When I take absolutely everything serious, I don't cut corners, and I often have strong ideas. Strong ideas. I always always speak up about. Yeah, I always have a lot of ideas to streamline and make things better. One thing I actually come up with recently was the when someone's on a forklift, if you have an Apple AirTag, because I've got Apple AirTags, if someone was to have one on their person, maybe it makes an alarm go or something on the forklift because the AirTags would be close proximity. And they said that isn't, because someone laughed, and then they said, the management said, actually that you ain't far from what we've just purchased, which none of us knew about, and it's something like that where it's going to stop the forklift when someone's nearby. But I thought I just came up with that out of nowhere. So that was an idea that, of course, they had already implemented, but no one else was thinking of it. That was only one little idea I came up with, but I've come up with quite a lot. Yeah, and I often feel overlooked, but I just think I don't really care because it's not my career path, is it? Let someone that wants this to be their career, let them sort of progress. Yeah. But I think, yeah, we do look for validation too much, seek it. I think you can do that everywhere. It's not necessarily at work. You can do it at home even. Let's say you go home and you tell someone about your day, what happened at work. It's like, why are we doing that? Of course, you're doing it for conversation, but you're also doing it to validate in some way your day, and expect people to be on your side, really. But I don't think it's about sides. Yeah, I don't think it's about sides, like someone's right, someone's wrong. It's just how we process information, we process our life, because ultimately the choices we make has nothing to do with anybody else. I think too many people look back. They're so focused so heavily on other people. They're not actually just living in the moment. Like, let's say, like, there's an opportunity that's come up, and I'm debating whether to go for it or not. It pays more. I'm already on a good salary, but this is even more money. It's a bit disruptive in the hours, but you'd have more days off overall and get paid an awful lot more. So, if you consider, if I was to go for it, get it, leave, people at work would think, they'd have an opinion on why you left. They'd probably think it was negative, not even looking at the money side or the reasons you did anything. They'd have their own agenda as to why you left. Then they'd look to replace you. Then they'd think they're better than you already. Then they think they didn't need you. So there's all these little things. Now, some people, that would bother them because they want respect everywhere they go. And like I said, everybody's waiting. Most people are waiting for an opportunity to replace you anyway. And for the most part, we are replaceable. So we have to get used to that. People seem to think they're too important that they can't be replaced. But we're always replaceable. You can be great at something, but they'll find someone else that can also do it. That's just the circle of life. That's how it works. When we make a decision, it's for us to live in that moment. It's up to us to just go for it and embrace it. So while these people can talk behind your back and they can talk when you've moved on or when you've made a decision, that's fine. Let them live in their little bubble. You continue living your life in your bubble and progressing on your journey. It doesn't bother me what people think. I just continue doing what I'm doing. So if I was to leave, I'd then meet new people, seek the new opportunity, embrace the new ideas and the new ways of working and the new opportunity. And that's all my focus would be on. I'll be like, right, what happened at the last place? What did I learn from it? The positives and negatives. And how can I transcend that into my new opportunity? And then obviously that comes into expectations as well. What do I expect from this? Because it has to be an upgrade in some way. But there'll be ways of working that maybe aren't the same. And sometimes we fall back into the familiar. We expect the familiar, we prefer the familiar because it's comfortable. We know what's happening. But yeah, people will talk. People will think they're better than you at every turn. But I think it's important that we just recognise our own qualities and we recognise that if we're proud of ourselves, that's all we need. That's all we need. We don't need to be better than someone else. Like, for instance, when I do my writing, there's potentially going to be better writers. People can bend a sentence better. People can phrase a paragraph better. Present it better, edit better. Magnificent covers. But does that make me worthless? No. We're just different levels and we're just different people. If we worry so much about other people, we'll never do anything. Yeah, I just think if we've got something to do, something to say, it's up to us just to follow our heart. Be who we are. Let people talk. Let people mutter. Let people criticize. Let people do what they want. Um, if it helps them, if it helps their day, let them do what they want. But don't let that carry you home into and worrying about these things, because it's just irrelevant. At the end of the day, you can't change an opinion of someone that has an agenda anyway. It's just not going to happen. You could sit there and get them in a corner and grab them by the scruff of the neck and say, "What the hell is wrong with you?" You could waste your time trying to convince them of how amazing you are. But their opinion isn't going to change because they see what they want to see. I could stop talking at work. I could just focus on the job, and they'd still think they're doing an amazing job, and I'm still taking short corners somewhere. Um, yeah. If I was not working, if I wasn't talking to people, and I really just knuckled down and focused 100%, everything was just like, get this job done, get this job done, get this job done, no matter what. Guess what they'd think? They'd think, oh, now he's being ambitious. Now he wants to replace us, or now he thinks he's better than us. So you're either lazy, or you think you're better than someone else. It's just, it goes full circle. These people, some people you just can't get their respect, but do you need it? I have the respect of those I hold dear, the ones I care the most about, the ones I get on the best with. We have it as a mutual respect, isn't there? Because we're all believing in each other. We can support each other. So when I need support at work, I need someone just to help me with something. If something's a bit too heavy, or it's getting a bit too demanding, it's made a high workload, I'll find familiar faces, the ones I trust, the ones that have my back and I have theirs. These are the only ones I'll ask. I won't ask anyone else because I don't trust them. And I think that's what it is. We all have our own little circles. And I think if you try to impress someone from another circle, it's probably not going to work out. I doubt it will. Because again, they've got their own personalities, their own agendas, their own perceptions. So if we stay in our own lane, just focus on building our life to how we want it, take forward action towards those goals, then we build a better future. The people that criticize us, the people that have opinions, they're not even coming on our journey. They're only a small part of it. Like I said, most of the places I go, people have false opinions of me. I make things look easy, so they think I'm lazy. They don't see what I've been through throughout my life. They don't see the trauma. They don't see the adversity. They don't see how resilient I am, and how I just keep ploughing forward no matter the obstacle. And I'm ambitious enough to keep going after my dreams and goals. I don't stop. I don't accept mediocrity. I'll always aspire for better. So where one person just falls into a situation, they think, this is great, I'm going to stay here. I'm always looking for something more, because I just always want to keep myself interested and creative. But again, people, and I have intelligence, and I'm good with people, so I can recognize the good and the bad in people, and I can also blend well in groups and stuff. So I have my qualities, but I also know my negatives. And I think once we understand ourselves, it's like no one can understand us better. So again, why do we seek validation from someone who doesn't truly understand us? They see one fragment of us and they think they have it figured out. Because to some people, work is their be-all and end-all of life. It's their ultimate goal, it's their ultimate being. And it's like, that's a small fragment of me. If that's everything you have, then I can see why you're frustrated. Because some of us want more, some of us are doing more. But again, what you do would seem trivial to some people if you're creating something. I had someone, when I wrote my book early on, they couldn't appreciate how hard and how much effort it took to write even the first book. And when you do something, people think it's easy. So they look down at you thinking, oh, well, I can do that. And guess what? They try. Maybe they write a page, maybe they write 2 pages. Then they realise they haven't got a lot more to say. How the hell are they going to make a book? And then they don't do the book, do they? Because it takes an incredible effort to write any book, as any author could attest. There's always stages where it gets hard, stages where you get fed up with it. It takes a strong mind to finish a book. But again, that's just one example, of course. It just shows personalities, where some people just seem to think it's easy because you did it. Like, if you can do it, I can do it. That's the motto, without appreciating really the sacrifices you do to do things. And effectively, the experience we gain in life is a culmination of everything we've been through, isn't it? whether it's life skills, relationships, family, to work and jobs. It's all a culmination. I started off in a cash and carry, you know, food place. But they provide the food to the smaller shops, so the shops would come in, get everything at a reduced price without the tax, and they'd supply their shops, and that's where I started off. And there was a forklift, but no one was allowed to use it. Only one person. I was never going to get on it there, so then I went to other warehouses, gained more experience because they were bigger, more distribution centres. Once you go to a big one, you really learn a lot, I think, rather than the small places. And at one of them, there was an opportunity to go on one of the forklifts, a reach forklift, and I thought I might as well give a go at this, and that was pretty good. Then I've got a job at Docklands, working at the port, driving a different type of forklift, so dealing with reels of paper. That was an experience. And then from there, all these different ones, side loaders, dealing with window frames, a bendy one, dealing with a DIY store. Yeah. And now I work for a water utility company, lifting massive pipes and couplings and all sorts of stuff. And it all comes from the experience that I've been through. But yet someone maybe starts at the place you're at, and they think they should be they're the same as you. They're as great, they can do what you do. It's like, you haven't done anything I've done yet. You're at the starting stages of your journey. So I think it's just to slow down, appreciate that, and learn the skills as you go. Because if you try to match someone that has experience, you're going to have an accident. That's literally what will happen. So again, if you're competitive, you're going to mess up because you're not really giving yourself the time needed to learn a skill and become experienced. Yeah, I mean, people try to run too fast, I think, when they should be walking. But again, it's perceptions, isn't it? People see your life and they seem to think that you're not worthy sometimes. I find that quite crazy because you think, wait a minute, you don't know anything about me. How could you possibly know whether I'm worthy or not? But because I'm kind, approachable, people have a hard time with that. I think when you're approachable, people seem to think they can walk over you, but I'm actually quite outspoken. Even at work, I am. I'm probably the most outspoken of everybody. Yeah, I'd say I'm volatile because I say what I want, and I can speak up pretty quick. Well, I don't like being led by leaders who I think less intelligent. So if I can see the failings, it kind of irritates me that I'm being led by these people sometimes. So I'm like, what is going on? But again, that's perceptions, isn't it? My perception of them is such that I don't know their life journey. I don't know the extent of their knowledge. Maybe their ideas seem stupid to me, but I don't have the full picture. And that's how people treat me too, I guess. So I think the perceptions are important, but I think we shouldn't take to heart too much what people say and think, because often it comes from a place that they want what you have, and to have what you have in their mind, they have to be better, don't they? Because if they're not, how can they possibly get there? So yeah, I think just believe in ourselves more, and I think just keep ploughing forward, really, not worrying about what people think and feel, because it's up to us to live our dreams. And to live our dreams means we're going to have to be bold. You have to go against the grain sometimes. Frustrate a few people. But yeah, don't let people hold us back, because we allow people that control, we'll never achieve anything. We'll always feel less than, maybe a failure, because people are telling you you're a failure. People are telling you you're not doing enough. You're doing more than enough. So, like, for instance, I come home sometimes and I'm tired, and I'm like, I'll just go and lay down. You can't be tired if you did nothing. It doesn't make sense. But yeah, people think what they want. It actually makes me smile because I just think how stupid they are. I have a low opinion of some people. I don't hide it, but it just makes me laugh to myself because I think they are deluded. it's quite funny. The fact that people think what they think sometimes. I find it quite funny. I find it humorous. Because then you watch them. If you see someone think something and you watch them, you realise how much they try to get away with doing anything. Because some people offer to help, and as soon as they know it's hard work, they go, "Oh no, no, I've got to go and do this." You know, so it says everything. You know. Yeah, anyway, I think we shouldn't seek validation from anyone apart from ourselves.